Dinim. I could just tell you a story that I learned when I was in the yeshiva. So that time the mashpia that we learned by was of Shmuel Levittin. And one time, Shmuel Levittin called in a minion of Bochum to his room. His room was the where the Choshen Kal had the Cheder Yichud. That was of Shmuel's room. Actually, Shmuel had two rooms over there. If you go into that room, there's a door that goes into another room. And that other room was where he slept over there. He lived in 770. When he got older and it was difficult for him, so he gave up that room and he moved to Gorodetsky's. And that room was started, the library in 770. The yeshiva had no library really, just today both rooms are already library, but they used it for Choshen Kal. So there was a Yid over there, and the story with the Yid was that the Yid came from Russia, and he was by the Rebbe, and he told the Rebbe that things are not going good for him in New York. Whatever, different businesses, he tried, it didn't work, you know. So the Rebbe asked him, did you ever offend anybody? So he thought, and he says to the Rebbe, it's possible when I was in Russia, I was, that time, going back those years, it wasn't just you could, you know, today it's free to go to Russia, to come from Russia, but that time he was a chosen, and he had an opportunity to run away, so he grabbed the opportunity and he left Russia. He said, but he doesn't know whatever happened with the woman that he was a kala to. So the Rebbe told him that he should go to a Rav and ask him what he should do. So he went to Reb Shmuel, and Reb Shmuel called him a minion of Bochum, and in front of the minion, he asked Mechila to the girl. So you see how important it is. There's even stories where people had certain problems after a marriage, and the Rebbe asked if they paid Shatchonis, or if they paid the קידושין. I mean, different questions that the Rebbe would ask. And you know, in the Tanoim, there's years ago, the Tanoim had abbreviations in it. You know, so people said, so you had to give the keyboard of reading the Tanoim to someone that knew how to read the abbreviations. But the abbreviations, one of them was Razash. I'm sorry, Rachash. What's Rachash? So now it's all written out already. Rav, Chaz, and Shamas. So it says Rachash, Rachatzoyim. In other words, that the expense for the Rav and the Chazan and the Shamas will be split equally. Then should talis for kittel, zikna the different. So, what are these three positions over they got to do over here? So the Rav is the Masada קידושין. The Chazan is the one that sings the Miyadir, and don't be surprised, the Shamas is the one who reads the Ksuba. The Rav is Masada קידושין. His Shamas reads the Ksuba. So the expense that you got to give to these people is agreed upon, is Lachatzoyin, it will be split equal.
But there's many stories like that, that the Rebbe asked if you once offended.
I remember when I was a chosin getting married, so I went to invite Rabbi Jacobson to the wedding. So he asked me, who's Masada קידושין? The reason he asked who's Masada קידושין, because at that time, Zalman Shimon moved into New York, and he started already getting into the Rabbonis in New York. So Rabbi Jacobson was very upset. He told it to me. He was very upset when American Bocha had the Zalman Shimon to be Masada קידושין. So it bothered him because he felt a Russian Bocha The Zalman Shimon was their Rav back in Russia. But American Bochum...
Who they want you to use?
Huh?
Who did they want you to use? If not Vargan, then who?
So he wanted it. So I told him, my Masad Kiddushin is Rabbi Rifkin. I told him, I learned Rabbi Das. He said, I would say I have no kindness. Because he said that Rabbi Rifkin, he also learned by Rabbi Rifkin, was older than him. He also learned by Rabbi Rifkin. But then he said to me, Rabbi Einza, give me not the Ksuba Leinen, or Ksuba Lein Tashamas. That's what huh? Yeah, I know, yeah. But Heint is a Sigurana Choshev a keyboard. But in Europe, or more, hat man gewusst, that the Rav is beside the קידושין and the Shamas, it's like Ksuba.
That's what he said. That's a good story.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's go in this simon over here. Let's go to Yud Aleph. In the middle. I skipped these few sifrim, but I just tell you what they're about. If you want, you can start with Tes. Tes is a very interesting halacha. Takonas kadmoinim v'cheirim shlo hoisi shemra ala mesim. That you have to, people think it's a terrible thing to talk against a mess. Really, it's not so terrible. It's just, it doesn't say it's a issa. To talk about a lebedik person is a issa. And this is that the Kohen shouldn't say anything bad about Mason. Okay. And Misha Korah Lachaveda Mamzer Loi Pogam Bekvait Avaisav Shayuch Loima Elech Levad Niskavanti Levad Tzaischem Elam can call him Mamzer Ben Mamzer. Because then he's also insulting the parent. But this way, he's not only...
Rabbi Bookit,
yeah,
we're talking about the story, was once in Liberty, when they had the Lubavitch Shiva had in Gainisol used to have a few classes.
It was called Turkey.
Turkey, right. So he was in Turkey. So he was in the parking lot of ShopRite one day. And Sheikh Na'afra, say his name is not, Shopsy Gordon, was in the parking lot.
Today's his yahrzeit.
Today's his yahrzeit?
Today was his yahrzeit.
Oh, that's funny, because I was telling a story about him.
Today was Shopsy's yahrzeit.
But Ashkacha Panda tells us about him. It's not about him, it's about Rabbi Booker, but the point is, and he said to his kid, Mamzerl, get in the car. That's what he said, Mamzerl, get in the car. Rabbi Booker went over to him and said, you shouldn't talk like that. You surely shouldn't say that. He said, why? He said, I was by a wedding, and es gekommen Zeit für the chuppah, und wir sitzt. It probably wasn't a Crown Heights wedding, but it was sitzt, What happened? Einer ist eingekommen und gesagt, hat mal gehört, wie die Tate ruft die Sonne Mamser. Es kann sein, es ist ein Taka Mamser. A Tate wird gerufen, keine Mamser. So they stopped the whole wedding, until they went to find two Edom to say that they know that it's not true, and then they were able to continue. He says, don't do that in public. Don't call your son Mamza.
And how do you know the story? You were there?
I heard it from Booker, I think. I remember the story. I told it to you 1,000 times already. I remember, either I was there or I heard it from Shopsy himself. I would never say that such a word, but Shopsy, he could have said something like that.
There was a joke when there was Mecca Shlichus. So the older Mecca Shlichus used to take a suitcase with Svarim, and you'd visit people in the community to try to sell them sefer. So there was a bocher that came to our house, and he wanted to sell a marza. So he said, this is a very important thing to have.
Laughing before you heard the joke.
So the person said, I don't think I need it because they told me of it. I have a son of marza. Okay. Now you're going to go through Erev Yom Kippur. Erev Yom Kippur is one time in the year when there's like a chiyuv to be taigu. So there's different opinions. What is the inyan? And based on the opinions is also dependent how many times you have to be taiva. So he says, V'yeshayim, there's some that say, Shetam tefillah zu hu mikum keri. Maybe he still has keri that he didn't clear up. Kedei sheyu nekiyim tehayrim b'yem kippurim. Is Mary said, Ufi tamzeh, according to this, if this is the reason why you're doing it, ein inyin kal loimer v'duyim b'mikveh. Because it's not for chatoyim. V'chein ein tzara glito el pam machas. Just dip one time. Umisha topo be'erev Rosh Hashanah, v'oiroi keri, achakach, alpha became tzara glito be'erev Yom Kippurim, because the Shema Roa, achakach mayim chalukim, clear water, or yachurim, or murky water, sha'aroya oisam tomei mishum valkeri. Maybe he doesn't even realize what happened to him. Utfilah zu shehim mishum keri, kishay rafilah ba'aba so yeshuvim. You know, you don't need a kosher mikveh, even if it's a abba so shuv. Kishahu b'kaka, avaloi b'keli. That if you have, let's say, a kid pool, you know, they make like in the summer, people have in their backyard, they make a kid pool. So that there's 40 saw in it. You can use that for, well, that may be a keli, that may be a problem. But over here he's talking,
it's in the ground.
It's not in the ground. Umishahu mitzday b'tfilah, someone has difficulties, is yochel lishpach olav tisha kab mayim, v'rashoy lishpach olav mishnayim oishreisha kelim. That means like this. You could take, Marshall, like 3 pails of water, and people pour on them. There's people that do a tada that's how they do tadas by most of the Levias. Today, a lot of places have a mikveh, but the mikveh is something new. It's more for a business. By Gimel Tammuz, the tada was made in the Rebbe's room.
Yeah, but the Rebbe's are free to give also.
And the free to give also the same thing. But for the chapels or for Chevra Kedishas, it's much easier to do it over there. They make a sort. I don't know if it's a kosher mikveh. It's a basin, built tub over there, and that's how they do it. So that's. But if they don't use something to put the body in, so then they lay out the person on a table, and they go with 3 pails of water. So as one is pouring, then the next one starts, and then the next one starts. Not supposed to be a hefsek in between. Ubein kulam, between the 3 of them, yiyeh tisha kab. Ubevad, but the main thing is sheyasla hasheni actually before sheposek harishon, before the first one finished. V'chein hashlishi actually posek hasheni. Alva me'abor kelim. If you break it into 4 pails of water, aim at stopping the tisha kab. Afila Imamarek Mikeli Echot, if you're taking one big pail, and the pail has tisha kabim in it, tisha kabim is not a lot. It's not a lot. It's a few gallons. That's not a big amount. Yizor, he should be careful. Lahorek below hafsaka klal, to do it without hafsaka. Ve'im nichnas chatzi l'techa mikveh chatzi tes kabin is yotza. So even if someone is in the mikveh, but he didn't bow down into the water, and then they pour on top of him shisha kabin, so it's yotza.
shower qualifies for that?
Okay, well, I'll soon answer about that. So there was, now you may ask a question, how could they do it all with Tisha B'Av with one very heavy pail to pick up? So I'll tell you a story. When we have Levias, we go to Shemra Das, okay? There was another place in Borough Park called Shemra HaChaimis. It's on 4th Hamilton Parkway.
No more.
Huh?
Not anymore.
I know it's closed up, I know. But I was there one time with the Chaver Kedisha, and they had a system like a mortgage item in the homes. You know, today today it's, everyone doesn't even know such a thing even. But a mortgage item by the bathroom, they didn't have like a toilet and a little a thing in back of it with the water, and you just press, you put a lever. There used to be up on the ceiling, there used to be a water tank, and you had a pulley, a string to pull it. What that thing did was, it opened up a cover in the tank, and when you open up the cover, so the water would go into the pipe and go into the bit. They had the same thing for Tisha B'Av over there. What did they do? They made the same exact thing, but they made it in a way that when you pull the string, the thing on top, the hole of the water turns over. Like you pull down the whole thing.
They used to have showers like that years ago.
It was on a wheel. You pull the whole thing, so the whole thing
pours out
at one shot on the mess. But they get to a shower, so there's a sefer. There was a Rav by the name Rabbi Nissen Telushkin. Rabbi Nissen Telushkin was a Rav in East New York, and he was a little Babich Rav. Originally he was a Babroshka Chassid. By the Tzemach Tzedek, there were a few sons, and they all became Rebbes. One became Babroisk, one became Radi. The only one that didn't become Kopis, Morganovus, Kopis. The one that didn't become a Rebbe his name was Baruch Shalom. He was the oldest one, and the Chassidim Zakman, that he was paid back the shaykhs of the Rebbe with the Tzemach Tzedek was through the Baruch Shalom. That he was a great grandfather of the Rebbe. So he became, that Baruch Shalom didn't become a Rebbe. I mean, one was the Rebbe Marash. I mean, that was the youngest one. So this Telushkin made a sefer. The one that wrote a book about the Rebbe, Joseph, was an Einikel. Mm-hmm. And his son, he had a son also by the name Shlomo Telushkin. Shlomo Telushkin was an accountant, the CPA, and he was the accountant for the yeshiva and the accountant for the Merkos. That was one. He didn't have a lot of, he just had a few clients, but these few clients kept him busy. So he made a sefer called Taras Mayim on the Dinam of Midbois. And incidentally, he gave the rights to the sefer in his Savor to the Merkos. So the sefer was printed 3 times during his lifetime, and it was also printed another time, at least one time that I know of, by Kahos. And he writes over there.
Don't answer.
He writes over there that a shower has a din of Tisha B'Av. So
only for this, not for women.
Not for women, no. But for this, it has a din of Tisha B'Av. So if people are like wherever they are, I mean, there's no mikveh, and most poskim accepted that it's right, and it's based on there's a lashon in the Mishnah, Nofel Olav Hagal. Hagal was a wave. So Nofel Hagal is tar. So this is like a gal, and he says over there comes that the mashal 3 minutes under a shower is Yosef Tisha B'Av.
Stop over here.
What you say?
We saw someplace else where it says 2 minutes.
It doesn't have 2 minutes.
Yeah, it depends.
No, you're a plumber. It depends on the shop. They put in the thing that makes
they restrict that.
What's it called?
The restrictors.
Yeah, it depends.
In America, in New York, kein Plus von ist Lust zu Wasser. So weil die kleine Sachen so aufstellende Wasser ein bisschen. Was da sagen, aufgestellte Wasser, das macht meine Zeit. Wenn kommt nicht rein, so
ja. So richtig. Elo Dibber Kim Chaim.
Elo Dibber Kim Chaim. It depends on people Wasser kommt.
It depends on what kind of shower head you have.
Yeah. So about the sun, I said,
is there an Indian that has to be in the Koyach Adam Kilo?
No. State the Russian, not for all of our gal. It's Torah. That's what they based it on.
That's the issue, anyway, you need to turn on the
phone. Okay.
Turn it on.
So let's just finish over here this sif. Umishoy Messiah B'Tfila Yochel Lishpoch Ol Tishka. I said this one.
Yeah.
The Isha Shashim Shatel Shreisha Yama B'Tfila Zu Tzricha Chabed Beiso B'Chamet to clear herself. Kain Shatitul Kedeg Haflet Kol Shechazara Shabim Kaidam Shvetafut Acha Atfilim Utei Tameya B'Yoim Hakipurim. And okay, this is when I get to women. I mean, the Alter Rebbe, incidentally, we'll see later. The Alter Rebbe goes with that girls should also be toivel. If you look in Yud Beis, I'm just bringing it out. I'll talk about it later, but look in Beis of a fill in the autumn will be sulis. Now there's others that don't hold that, even that they hold that the women should toivel, but not the sulis. Because the idea is because they should know that they have to be separated from boys.